Well, good morning, everybody. This is David McLeod coming to you from Northern California, and it's beautiful out today. It is just an absolutely stunning, shiny California day, and I'm feeling so much better because we've had so much rain to help kind of reduce the drought problem here. And I'm really excited because that's our subject today. It's all about water. It's all about making waves. It's all about making a big difference in the world. And I've got two amazing, beautiful female presences that you are going to absolutely fall in love with today. And the first one I'd like to introduce is Sprite Laureano, who is an entrepreneur and has been for quite a few years now. And she's got some amazing visions about how we can change the world. And she's going to share a little bit about that with us today. Good morning, Sprite, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, David. Thank you for having me here with you.
Well, and you are so welcome. I'm delighted to have you here, and you know, your presence always fills my heart with joy. Thank you for being here. And the other person that I'd like to introduce is Audra Irwin, who is a High on Life coach. She has been working with all kinds of amazing people, including Tony Robbins. So she is a force to be reckoned with, and someone that I know you're also going to fall in love with. Good morning, Audra. Nice to see you again. It's been a while.
Hey, I'm so happy to be on with both of you.
Yeah. So I think the thing that I really want to draw attention to first, Sprite and Audra, is this amazing project that you've been involved in for the last, I don't know how many months. And Sprite, maybe you can just explain what it was all about so we can all get a kind of a feel for it.
Okay, sure. So, I and my friend here in Ecuador, so I live in Ecuador, and my friend Jane Britton and I started a movement called the Water Bears, thewaterbears.org, and our mission is to inspire women who have access to clean water to get it to those who do not. And so we decided to put together a campaign to gather women from all around the world for 30 days to see if we could get water to 1 million people in 30 days. And so we are...
Wait. You said 1 million people in 30 days. Is that what I heard?
That's right.
Oh my God, that sounds amazing. Now tell me, how is that going to work?
So the way that it works is we partnered with an organization I've been working with for about 6 years called Waves for Water, and they are great at what they do as far as distributing a very powerful water system that costs $50 and serves 100 people for up to 10 years.
Wow.
And so I've been personally delivering these systems as well as you and Audra have had that opportunity as well. We talk about that later. So we had a really great system in place that we knew we could, you'd have an effective tool. We just needed to get the word out. And so the way we decided to get the word out was to inspire women to step up and to be leaders, to take on a campaign and share the campaign. And so we had 108 women step in and start sharing the campaign. And in 30 days, so we, on World Water Day, our final total was 3,210 water systems, serving over 320,000 people.
Wow,
so we almost got to about
that's amazing. Yeah, that's awesome. 300,000 people in 30 days, all getting served amazing, clear, pristine, easy to produce water within their villages. That's a pretty awesome. I mean, that's an awesome thing. Congratulations, right? And thank you for doing that.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for contributing, donating, and for everyone who's watching that was a part of that and who still is wanting to be a part of that. So the systems will be distributed over this next year to people all around the world.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And so Audra, help us understand a little bit about how you got involved, how you met Sprite, and why this moved you to act.
Oh my gosh. Well, I met Sprite when I met you at the Messenger Summer a few years ago, and when you were enlisting people to come to Africa and have an experience there and contribute and give back, and fell in love with you immediately, right? And just going back to Africa and having that experience of seeing what they don't have in, as far as their water, and I had a profound moment that changed me forever. Still chokes me up when I think about it. We were speaking at the school, and we were going to our bus to get back in our bus, and this little boy was tugging on my skirt, and I'm like, and I looked down and I'm like, oh, isn't he sweet? And he just kept tugging, and then I realized he reached up and he was wanting my water bottle. We had bottled water. And he was like, can I have your water? And I gave it to him, and he just like downed it. And it was just one of those moments that just like, you know, change your life. Like, wow, you know. And so from that moment forward, and then going into the villages and literally seeing their faces, like the joy. You know, when you show them the water that they had, and then the clean water, and literally like the extreme joy on their faces over water, like it's just something you can't describe. And it's just like from that time on, it was like, you know, it humbled me in a great way. And then of course, you know, getting the opportunity to go back to Ecuador and go to the villages and get to recreate that experience, it was a no-brainer when Sprite created this campaign, because she's so dynamic in your endeavors and the things that you create, and that I had to be a part of it. And even though I didn't have a lot of time, and maybe I, you know, didn't get the enrollment that some people did, we all matter, and it all matters, and the littlest bit helps. You know, when we think we don't, you know, well, we can't make a difference, we so can, you know. So that, anyway, that's my love affair with Sprite and water and this campaign, and yeah.
Well, thank you for sharing that, Audra. I have to say that, you know, I had the opportunity to go with both of you to Liberia back in 2013, and you know, I remember what an amazing experience that was for me as well. I was touched very deeply by the people there. The thing that really touched me more than anything else, I think, was how much joy these people had in their lives, even though they didn't have, you know, 99% of the stuff that we have here in the U.S. They were living, you know, basically day to day, and yet they seemed to be dancing and singing and just emanating, or I'm not sure if that's the right word, but they were pushing out their joy to the whole world. And I thought, man, what a difference. I would love to bottle their joy and bring it over here. That's what I'd like to do. But one thing I like to say to both of you is, you know, all of this started just from an idea. Isn't that right, Sprite? I'm afraid I got you on mute there for a sec. It started just from an idea. You saw a problem and you said, how can I solve this problem? Is that about right?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I want to go back for a second to what you were talking about, as far as the joy that's there. I think it's a really important statement for people to get, because there's so much that we have in the developed world, and people have such often a lack of joy, right, with so much. And what's so amazing about, and what I always say to my friends in Liberia and different countries, developing countries, and now I'm living in a developing country in Ecuador, but what I always say is that, you know, their life is family and friends are so important to them, and it brings them so much joy. And they appreciate everything that they have so much. And you know, it's like when I was living in Africa, I had the chance to live there for a year, and it, you know, it's really like, as joyous as people are, people also have to really get like the realities of what it's like to not have the basics of life. You know, like I had professional friends who would, you know, working in banks and attorneys, etc., and they would get up every morning and they would go stand in line at 5 in the morning to get their water. And the water was not even clean. It would have like little red worms in it and stuff. And then they'd go home and they'd shower and put their suits on and, you know, look exactly like you and I to go to work. Like, and for people to recognize, you know, like that's life out there for our brothers and sisters. So, and it doesn't need to be, right? It just needs to be that we make a decision to do something different. We make a decision that we can make a difference, and why, you know, and it is why we created the campaign to be as simple as we could, like, you know, so just $50, and some people feel inspired by that, and some people don't, and it's okay. It's like, who's ever going to be inspired by that? And we had a lot of people, thank God, that were inspired by that, and hopefully we'll still be inspired by that. And we'll know how simple that can be, $50 to serve 100 people, right? Like, you can really make a big difference. So even the people that came a part of our campaign, and even those that stepped up as leaders and got, you know, 1, 2 filters, they're donated. They're serving hundreds of people just from doing that, you know. And then some went out and got, you know, 100 filters donated, and they're serving 10,000 people. So it's just, yeah, we can make a difference. We just have to decide to do it. That's it, you know. And then it's like gather together with the people you love and you love to hang out with, which is why I'm so grateful. You know, Audra came aboard with us, and you know, and Audra's an incredible leader. She's been on 2 of our trips, and you know, David, you've been on 1. And for both of you, you know, it's like it's both of you had to step out of your comfort zone. You had to make an investment. You had to make a decision that other people were important to, you know, to go and make a difference, to go serve in another country, which is so huge. I mean, that's amazing leadership. So that's why I was like so excited to be with both of you today.
Well, thank you for that, Audra, or I'm sorry, for Sprite. And I just, you know, there was something you said there that I just want to reiterate, and that was the word decision. And I think that's a very, very important point. You know, we can sit here and watch things around the world, and we can observe and maybe even sit quietly on our sofa watching TV and complaining about it, which is what I think a lot of people unfortunately do. And complaining is not acting, you know. I know for myself, sometimes it does take a little bit of an impetus from somebody else, and somebody nudging me in the ribs and saying, hey, come on, David, come do this. This is the kind of thing that you were meant to be doing. Get off your butt and come do it with me. And, you know, I love it when someone has the courage to do that with me. Someone has the courage to remind me that I'm not the only guy in the world.
Right.
That sometimes I have to look outside myself. I have to look outside my comfort zone. And it may be uncomfortable to step out and take a risk like what Sprite is doing here, or what Audra is doing. It might feel risky, it might feel uncomfortable. But that's okay. Think of the impact you can make. So,
That's
Audra,
great.
I wanted to ask you now, what was it that really motivated you to do it in the first place? I mean, you didn't see these people before you got to Africa, so you really didn't have the experience of that little boy tugging on your skirt and maybe understanding the depth of the importance of your being there. But what was it that really motivated you to go in the first place? I'm afraid you're going to have to unmute yourself again.
I've always sensed something beyond myself. And when Sprite presented the trip at the Messenger Summit, it just spoke to my heartstrings. Like, I wanted to experience life in another country and have the experience. You know, you hear things, right? You hear, like, over there, this is what takes place. And I wanted to have that experience for myself to see, you know, what is life really like, you know, and from the framework that I don't come from. And it was something that called out to me, and that I honored that. I didn't know. You know, I had an idea, of the culture and some of the things that they were facing and dealing with. And honestly, to be really honest, like in my upbringing and growing up, I always thought, well, that's over there and it belongs to them and it doesn't have anything to do with me. And it's so not true. I could just cry right now, because we're all one and we're all connected, and what affects one affects all. And to be able to go over and like have the ground floor experience of their culture and the humanness and the love in their eyes and the joy that they have, and that we really are all connected. And it was just in my moral compass to have an opportunity to contribute in a different way. And I'm so grateful, Sprite, you know, to have met you and to have been a part of these trips, to have been not, you know, just transformative for myself. You know, I mean, we do go over there and we do our leadership, you know, trainings, and we do our water contributions, and we transform lives. But it's like in the process, like I've been transformed. Like I am transformed because of these trips and because of knowing you and because of being a part of something bigger and beyond myself. So
you're welcome. And you know, Audra, so what I want to just share about that, just to kind of piggyback on your gratitude, if I can, is that to me it's been one of the most beautiful things about this campaign is how many people we had email us and say, thank you for this opportunity of letting me give and letting me give here and be a part of that, right? So it's like as grateful as I am, I'm like so grateful for everybody that stepped up. I'm receiving that same gratitude back, like that people are really feeling what you're just saying, Audra, like what an amazing opportunity it is to be part of something so big where together we're really making a difference. You know, it's not about me. It's not about each individual person. Every individual person, no matter what they did and all the energy that they brought in and continue to, we're together making a difference. And, you know, I had this one man who was a donor, and he sent me, we had sent out an email to all of our donors, and there was a picture of me because we just went to the Amazon. And so literally, like in our campaign, we're raising money. And then before our campaign is even over, we've got a team of people in the Amazon, deep in the forest, delivering filters, right, from this campaign. So it's like we're all about action and getting the water to people right away. And so I sent this picture of me holding up, you know, the dirty water that they have to drink, and then, you know, the clean water that they get instantly. And he sent an email out to his list. And he said, you know, I don't even know how thirsty I'd have to be to drink, you know, the picture of the water on the left. And like, you know, that just so brought it home, you know, just brought it home, like for, you know, how easy it really can be to make a difference. And I'm just like, oh, just excited about that. You know, it's great giving myself and other people opportunity to you know, be the love that we are, you know, and
yeah, that's really amazing and important and relevant. And what I want to just point out that in order to make a wave, you got to start by making a ripple. This is something that I've been saying, and you know, you don't have to be looking at the huge, ginormous thing that you want to create in order to have an impact. You know, you've already started something here, Sprite, with your campaign. People can have a major impact on this campaign just by donating money to the program, and the money then gets turned around into purchasing filters and to helping get people over to the places where these filters need to be delivered. So every little ripple contributes to the bigger wave. It's really, really important for people to understand that. So yeah.
And that, exactly, David. You know, we've started massive amounts of ripples in this campaign, and this ripples. I mean, it's continuing, right? Like we're not going to shut it all off. You know, like so, we're going to keep going. Like we really know, like this is the beginning. This is just like the tip of the iceberg all of us coming together and making a difference. And, you know, I mean, the truth is, you've probably heard me say this before, both of you, but there's a saying that says, shoot for the stars, because most people will shoot for the moon and they only hit the roof of their house and they wonder why they never go anywhere. And so we did, you know, you shoot for the stars, you do you shoot for what's, you know, big and uncomfortable. And you know, you might just totally hit it, you know, but even if you don't, you're still, if you shoot big, you know, you're still going to do more than you thought you could. And that's how I live my life. And so, you know, as far as I'm concerned, we you know, we still haven't made our goal, and we're not stopping. We're continuing. So we still have, you know, 600,000 people to get clean water.
Yeah, I have no doubt that you're going to get to every one of those 600,000 people, and probably more than that. I mean, as far as I can see, you've already impacted, you know, millions of people around the world without even perhaps knowing it. You know, you hear from a lot of people, but there's a lot of people also who are impacted by this, who don't necessarily respond or say anything, but that doesn't mean they don't feel it. That doesn't mean they don't have the benefit of this impact. So, you know, I just want to honor you and bless you and just keep wishing you great luck in doing all these things that you love to do so much.
Thank you, David.
So, Audra, tell me a little bit about, you know, I know that you make your own waves in the world. Not necessarily perhaps in the same way that Sprite does, but you're making waves. Tell us a little bit about some of the impact that you create, in addition to this stuff that you're doing with Sprite.
Well, I'm a transformational empowerment coach, so I get to create ripples in my clients' lives, right? Inspiring and empowering them to see their greatness and break through the things that are holding them back from doing the things like Sprite is doing and giving their contribution and their expression to the world. Being a High on Life coach, it's all about authentic self-expression and whatever that means or speaks to you. And so, and I love the whole ripple thing, because what has been a common theme lately is thinking it has to be big and epic. That, oh, like Tony Robbins, you know, oh, he makes ripples, right? Like it has to be this big epic thing. When I become this great big thing on this big platform, then I'll be making a difference. But I get to pause and remind my clients and myself that, like, you don't even realize the ripple that you make individually, like who you touch and who that person touches, and we all create ripples and waves in ways that we don't even get to see, because in our idea and our consciousness, it has to be this big epic thing. So even just somebody who was kind enough and felt moved to donate $50 for a filter is making a huge impact, right? So that's just my big thing lately, is to realize that it, like, Sprite is dynamic and amazing with her big vision and all of that. And equally as important, you know, as a Tony Robbins, are each of us making our own little ripples and waves that we don't see, because it may not look like a sold out room of 9,000 people, right?
Yeah, I totally get that. And one of the things that I teach people, and I keep reminding myself, is every thought, word, action, and feeling that I express in the world has an impact of some kind. And it may not have necessarily the kind of impact that I want to have, and so I have the choice of going back and reflecting on that later and saying, okay, is that who I want to be? Is that the kind of impact I want to create in the world? I have the power as an individual to review everything I've done and to look at the impacts that I've created and to make a decision about whether I want to continue doing that or maybe want to make a new decision to create a different kind of impact. And I believe all of us have that power. I can't change you as an individual, but I can change me. And it helps when I've got people like you and Sprite to reflect to me what you see in a loving and non-judgmental way, to help me to see for myself the ways in which I can improve and grow and get better. And every one of those little steps is like tiny little pebble in the pond that creates a ripple. And when we start adding up those ripples, we begin to see the massive amount of effect that we have in the world.
Yeah, it's so true. And David, you know, I think another piece of that for me is also recognizing, so like for just this campaign, when my friend Jane and I put this together, we knew, so we developed this with three pillars, which is women, water, and wisdom, that we wrapped this campaign around this idea of women leadership, and developing and growing the feminine wisdom on the planet, and really supporting this, you know, reemergence and this integration of both the feminine and the masculine energy on the planet. And that what we're doing here also with this campaign, and what's really been evident, is supporting women, because many of the women that stepped into this campaign have never done anything like this before, right? So it was a really big step for some, and for some it was, you know, not so big. It was just, you know, we had women, you know, at all spectrums of leadership. And so the thing that we want to, you know, that we really wanted to share in that is for women to be recognizing that no matter where they're at, they can step into leadership, and it's really important that they do. And so, like, whatever it is that's keeping women, especially women who are in leadership roles or have that potential to be in leadership roles, from really stepping into, you know, understanding how they can affect, you know, more people, how they can, you know, really overcome the different challenges that they have in their life, etc. It's like, that's, you know, it's what we're being called to do right now. Like, we have big lights. We're here to shine. And you know, the time of playing small, the time of you know, shrinking back, and especially for women, because, you know, women have been, you know, taught that, you know, they don't have a voice, and so women are really learning, like, oh, this is what it's going to take for me to step into my authentic voice, and which Audra speaks about a lot, you know, and she's gone on that. I've been so grateful to be a part of your journey, Audra, in that, and discovering that, right? Like, and we're in this journey together, discovering how do we keep stepping into that more powerful, authentic voice, so that we can be, you know, living as our greatest selves, and bringing along our brothers and sisters at the same time.
Yeah, that's very, very true. And your words remind me, you know, one of the things that Marianne Williamson says is that playing small doesn't serve us at all. It doesn't serve anybody. You know, we're not doing anybody a favor by letting ourselves be small. You know, I know that in some ways there's this ego story that we have that, well, if I get smaller, maybe you'll get bigger. You know, and it just doesn't work that way. If I get smaller, then what happens is you start to get smaller too. And so it doesn't serve anyone. And I think each of us has to look inside and decide, where is my bigness? Where is my magnificence? And how can I bring it in a way that empowers other people to bring their magnificence? There is a way for me to do that without overshadowing you, without making your light drown out. It's possible for all of us to be beautiful beaming lights in this, a full universe of beaming lights. So, yeah, I thank you for bringing that up. So I'm going to ask you, ladies, if you have, you know, a quick message you'd like to share with our audience before we close out. Audra, is there something that you'd like to say that, you know, to inspire our audience to make their ripples?
Well, what comes up for me is to honor your calling. Like, I'm continuing to step into the calling that I have, and just like live into it, rise up and just live into it. And so, like, Sprite had a calling to serve these people in Africa and Ecuador with the water and what she's created. And I think we all have an innate calling, heart, and in our soul, and it's just to honor that. So whatever it is that you need to do to honor your call and live into that, that's what I believe.
That's awesome. Thank you, Audra. How about you, Sprite?
So I would just love to say that I would love to invite people that are watching this to come and make ripples and waves with us, and that would be my invitation, is to come in any way that they feel inspired to make a ripple. You know, I would love them to, provide a $50 donation to get water to 100 people. A $500 donation gets water to an entire village for 10 years, So I would love who's ever watching to know that they can come and make an incredible difference here, like right away, and feel really good about that. So, yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Well, think about that, friends. I mean, what would it be like for you to be able to bring water to an entire village for 10 years? I mean, even if it costs $500, that's only $50 a year. I mean, that's peanuts. You're going to spend more than that in coffee in a month. And we all do, and we all have the money. It's not really a big imposition. So any one of us listening to this show today could make that kind of contribution. And I know you're not going to stop there. I know you're going to allow yourself to be inspired. I know you're going to allow yourself to look inside and find your calling. And I also know that you may have some fear coming up. You may have some fear coming up. That happens for all of us. And this is why next week we're going to be talking with a lady who works on this whole notion of fear. She talks about feeling the fear and doing it anyway. And this lady, her name is Azmina Jiwa. She's also one of the journeyers that went off to Liberia, an amazing woman. She's going to be here next week, and our topic title is Don't Be Fooled by Fear. So I hope you'll join us then. Thank you so much, Audra, for joining us today and for being here. And just love your smiling face and your energy, and I love to call you my sister.
Thank you, David. I appreciate both of you so much.
Okay. And Sprite, again, thank you so much for being on the show. It's just been an honor to have you here. I'm looking forward to meeting you again in person sometime soon, hopefully sometime this summer maybe. Anyway,
sounds good.
Thank you again, ladies. All the best, and goodbye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.